Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today I'm finally going to share some of the wildlife photos I got from Costa Rica. There's so many that I ain't going to pile them into one video. This is going to be a two-part series. These are the highlight reel photos, you might say. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you into the video from here. Let's go. Okay, I want to start with this little guy right here. This is what I believe to be a barred ant shrike. I've looked it up best I can find, and that's the best I can come up with. There was quite a few of these at the last place we stayed, which was in the town of Monteverde, Costa Rica. This was in a concrete walk path, like a sidewalk through the property, and I just thought this is a very cute little bird. I wanted to grab a photo of it, and it was unique to me. I had never seen anything like this little guy and thought I'd share it with you. The next bird is the infamous blue motmot, is what they call it in Costa Rica, but from what I've looked at on researching it, it is a Lesson motmot. It gets its name from apparently the sound it makes, although I saw 3 or 4 while I were there and none of them ever made a sound. They always live in the low brush right next to the ground, and you'll find them in like, looks like banana groves kind of, but they're never more than 5 or 6 feet above grade, seems like. They're always real low to the ground, and that's why you can get these real good side view shots of them, especially with those long tail feathers with the little tips on the tails like that. But that one I think was photographed in Monteverde. I saw them also in Manuel Antonio. It was a really interesting little bird. The next bird is what I believe to be a rose-breasted grosbeak. Now, I have never looked these birds up before, and I'm thinking this might be a little bit of a juvenile, a youngling or whatever the technical term is, because the coloring isn't as pronounced as my little literature I have shows. But it greatly resembles that bird. And these were also in Monteverde. They were real active, so it was really difficult to get a photo of these birds. I got lucky and got at least this photo of this little guy. The next photo is of a Coati, if I'm pronouncing this right. It looks like a cross between a rabbit and a rat, and they're everywhere. Literally, we found them, I think, in every town we went to. They're just this little creature that lives in Latin America. And apparently they're pretty prolific everywhere, not just in Costa Rica. But yeah, you would find them. They didn't have a lot of man fear. You can see in this photo, this is not cropped. This is the full image. That's how close I was able to get to him with the 500 millimeter. But you can see that they're really pretty little animals, but it's just like a weird little hybrid between a rat and a rabbit. The next thing on my list is what is known as a side stripe palm viper. This snake is deadly. If it bites you, you will die. There is, from what I understand, pretty much no antivenom available for it. I literally was within about 12 inches of this little guy. The leaf you see in the corner of the frame, I was on the other side of the leaf. There's a long story behind this snake, but this snake was fairly small. It's not very big. It looks bigger than it is because of the photo. I would say it's about as big around as your little finger. It was fairly small. It was young. This is a keel-billed toucan. Keel like the keel of a ship, K-E-E-L. And it's basically what they nicknamed the Fruit Loop toucans. And we didn't see them for the first week or so. We finally saw one, I guess it was on the second week of the trip, when we actually saw the big keel-billed ones. It was kind of difficult to get a good photo of them. It's kind of like the scarlet macaws. I saw scarlet macaws, I never got a decent photo. Tried and just couldn't make it work. And next we have what I believe to be an orange Julia butterfly. These things weren't super prevalent, but I seen quite a few of them, and I thought I'd eventually grab a photo of one on a walk. And because it was well lit, and I just wanted a picture of it, and it just happened to be there. Now this is the portion of the coral snake we found, and this is, from what I understand, this is a Central American coral snake. I got another photo with my iPhone. Yeah, I actually got close enough to get an iPhone photo, But this snake isn't very large, so I wasn't really super concerned because we wasn't really messing with it. It was on the side of the trail, literally on the side of the walking trail. It had its head hid under a leaf, and it was like trying to protect itself or something from attack, I think. It's like a defense mechanism. But he would take a stick and move the leaf off of its head so you could see its head. But it was very small. But supposedly, a bite from this snake is the end. You basically tell the people around you goodbye because that's about all you get. Here is something else that is plentiful in the winter in Costa Rica because all the hummingbirds from North America migrate to South America in the winter. Hummingbirds are everywhere, and it's almost impossible to get decent photos of them because they're in motion. I tried and tried and tried to get them flying, and it's just, they're so random and so chaotic that it was just impossible. I got so many blurry photos of hummingbirds around bushes and flowers and crap. I just finally gave up, and I finally started watching when they'd go and light. When they land, I get a photo. So this is a pretty good image, and I really don't know which variety. There is literally hundreds of these little guys, different kinds and shapes, and we saw some with big long tails and stuff, but I only got a couple of decent hummingbird photos out of the whole trip, and this was one of them. And then we have this little guy, and I have looked and looked and looked and looked, and maybe one of you guys knows what kind of bird this is, because I absolutely have no idea. I have searched and searched and searched and cannot come up with a name for this little bird. It's cute as a bell, but I don't know what it is. Does anybody here know? Because I cannot find out anything. I don't know enough about like nomenclature to know if it's a warbler or a grosbeak, but I just happened to find this little guy on a walking trail somewhere. So if anybody knows, just let me know, because I don't know. And now we have the black guan. These birds are actually pretty big birds, and for the longest I thought they were part of the wild turkey family, but I'm not real sure now. They're pretty prolific. This one was in Monteverde, and I found it on a mountain trail up at the top of a mountain. I was just walking around with my camera trying to find something neat to photograph, and it lit in a tree right above me, and it just sat there, and I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited, and it finally moved around on the limb to where I could get a decent photo of its eyes and face, and I got this shot of it. But it's just an interesting bird I'd never seen before, so I grabbed this photo. The next photo is of a collared aracaris. And these birds are in the toucan family. They're small toucans. The day I got this photo, there was 3 or 4 of them, and they were all around a papaya tree eating the papaya. They're beautiful birds, and they were in some guy's yard on the side of the road. We just actually stopped on the side of the road, and I got some photos of them. The next photo is of a caiman. We saw bunches of alligators, caiman, and crocodiles on this trip. We did several nature tours. And the caimans are typically fairly small, and they're kind of skittish. Now you're seeing blue and white swallows. If I've done my research right, that's what these are. And I only saw them on this one trip. I never saw them again after this day. Beautiful little birds. And I counted myself lucky to be able to find them. Okay, and next we have a pair of howler monkeys. Now, this is something to learn. Costa Rica has 4 kinds of monkeys. They have spider monkeys, squirrel monkeys, howler monkeys, and white-faced monkeys. Of those 4 kinds of monkeys, only the white-faced monkeys will actually come around into the resorts near you and try to get your foods or whatever. They're the ones that are the mischievous ones that cause trouble. The howler monkeys stay to themselves. They stay out in the woods, and they'll stay in the fringes. They might move through a town or something, but they'll stay way up in the trees. They don't come around much. So you don't have much trouble out of them, but they create a sound in the early morning that there's no mistaking it. It's just creepy. I'm sorry, but it's just, when you hear it first thing in the morning, it will straight raise the hair on the hackles on your neck, as they say. It's just, you just have to hear it. Moving on to the next photo, we have what they call the Jesus Christ lizard. And the reason it has this name is because it can walk on water. It actually will run across the surface of the water. It's light enough that as it runs, it doesn't break the surface tension of the water. We saw a fair amount of these. This one was the most colorful and There's like 2 different kinds, I think they said, but the green ones were the most colorful and it stood out the best. Okay, this next picture is of a male belted kingfisher. Now, I found several kingfishers while we were there, like actually quite a few. I took so many kingfisher photos. I just finally had to work my way down to one and pick one. And this is the one I picked of that. The next photo you see is of a ringed kingfisher. These were plentiful. These little guys were everywhere. There was a bunch of them. Very, very colorful. And we were riding down this river tour, and these guys were fishing while we were riding down the river. After a while, they got kind of used to us being there, and I was able to get decent photos of them. But to start with, they were real skittish, and they'd fly off. My next photo is of a female belted kingfisher. This is the mate to the male that was just a couple photos back. I didn't really could tell the difference during the day. While we were out shooting the photos, I didn't really notice it until I got home and I got to looking them up for the video, and then I started realizing, hey, I got more than one kind here. What am I dealing with? And that's where I come up with the fact that this is the female and the other one was the male. My last photo of the day for this video is of what appears to be a family of cormorants. And then they're swimming upstream. This is the stream we was in with our boat, and I just happened to look upstream and seen all their little heads bobbing out of the water at once. I just grabbed a shot of them. I thought, perfect photo of just what it's like to be down there. They're just swimming around, enjoying their day, no big deal. And there you have it, episode 1 of The Wildlife of Costa Rica by David Sailors. It almost sounds like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, but not. Until next time, get your camera out. Go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see you later. Bye-bye.